don't know how we happened, we just kinda did. I was being sarcastic and asked for a kiss. You've been on my mind. You've been on my mind.
I believe that there are very few but major things that we can control are about our own identity, considering how much we're influenced by the world around us. This goes back to the beginning of the semester where we wrote a list out of what we thought people perceived us as and how our identity was towards them. If you're being looked at as a person who doesn't care about their grades and parties all the time or something like that, then you can change the way people think about you by changing your actions, which changes your identity. Eventually people forget about the old ways that you were and just know how you are now. That way you'll be thought of in a positive way. There are many things such as the media, our friends, and family that help determine our identity or help us define what our identity should be. If we're aware of these things, then we can control how much that they control our identity, so that it's more about us and less of who they are or who they want to be. I do think though that our identity does depend on the things that are around us, such as the media and things like that, whether we like it or not. For example, unless you show your own clothes, your identity is decided for you when you wear a brand name. So if you have a brand on your shirt that everyone thinks is expensive, then you'll be looked higher than a brand name that everyone knows isn't as expensive. A way you can solve this problem is trying not to wear a brand name. Obviously, this is really hard, but you can try if that's something you strive to do to change the way people think of you. I believe that our identity is determined by so many things. It starts off when you're very young and your name is chosen for you. That is part of your identity. You can't control that, so it's determined for you. Your parents do that. Other things that relate to us now is our friends and family. You can determine who your friends are going to be, but in the long run, you don't really know them when you first decide to be friends with them. So you become to be whoever they are. Hopefully that's a positive thing. So I believe no matter if you're the leader of a group or you're just a follower, then your identity is going to be determined for you depending on who you hang out with. Also, your family status is a big one for determining identity. If you are in a rich family, then that's your identity. If you're in a poor family, then that's your identity. So I think there are a lot of things that control this. After hearing Mr. Hill talk about how you keep an open mind instead of keeping it all fenced up, I started to realize that I myself was closed-minded. I'm a Christian, so some of the things that we talk about do not relate, or I don't believe, according to my religion. So some of those things were like how you have to offer tobacco to trees and things like that. Personally, I don't believe that. I'm not saying it's wrong for them to believe it. That's just my opinion. So I was very closed-minded when it came to that, and I began to hate this class almost because I just didn't want to hear about things. But when, like I said before, when Mr. Hill actually pointed out that you should keep an open mind when it comes to this stuff, I started to realize that I should keep an open mind as well. Even though I don't believe some of these things, there are a lot of similarities between my religion and the native religion. For example, one of the things that we learned about the other day was that all people are equal no matter what, and no one is closer to God than anyone else. That really struck me because I believe that I forgot about that and was just thinking about my religion rather than other people. So I think that really helped open my mind. I think we saw that in the video. So basically, in conclusion, from this class, I have learned so far, just from this unit, that it's easier to be controlled of your identity than it is to control your own identity. Also, I've learned that keeping an open mind is a really important thing in life because then you'll learn a lot more. And yeah, so I've really enjoyed this class so far now that I've become open-minded, and I'm excited to see what we learn next.